Welcome to the Fantasy Golf Bag live stream. I am your host, Red Kachik, joined this evening by Mr. J.K. Ray, ASU. We don't get to see your face very much anymore. We don't get to hear your voice, I guess, but get to see your voice on Wednesday nights. So nice to have you for the show. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Good. Glad to be here. Another Wednesday night with all you guys, and excited to get a little chat on about some Innisbrook action.
Yeah, this worked out pretty well last week with obviously with Axis and Bo Skyler on the podcast with me, and then we get your bright ideas on Wednesday night. So it kind of mixes it up so we don't get to hear ourselves talk. I guess you guys got to suffer through me talking twice a week, but try to make it entertaining for you. Again, going back to it, I'm your host, Red Kachik. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already, as well as J.K. Ray, ASU. Follow him on Twitter as well. And a couple side notes. Got the Listener League. There's only a few people in here right off the bat, which is fine. For those that have not already, I'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat. I actually didn't check how many spots are available, so hopefully it's not full yet, but I think there was like 15 spots left. So if you haven't already, join the FGB Listener League. It's a $3 entry fee, 75 people in there. And we'll go ahead and get started, Jacob. Let me hit the agenda real quick. We'll actually jump to weather first this week, and then we'll get into our thoughts for the players.
Okay.
Okay, Horse Player says there's 13 left. Horse Player took it down last week, so congrats again, man. Yeah, $5. We'll make it $109. We'll do a secondary. So again, we'll touch on the podcast. Obviously, Jacob wasn't on the podcast, so he can give his thoughts, maybe where we went wrong, me and Axis. And then, of course, we'll talk through some weather. We'll get to that here shortly. And then in the show with some projected ownership, some pivots. And we'll end the show with a couple giveaways at the end, just like always. So let's go ahead and get to it, man.
All right.
So overall with the show, if you had any thoughts, I mean, I felt like we kept the player pool pretty tight. There was, I'm certainly very narrow-minded, I guess, on the top range. There's a couple guys I kind of want to play, but I'm just not going to do it to myself this week. I can't play everybody. But obviously DJ, I think we were both high on, and probably everybody in the industry is. But really, once you got past maybe, we'll say Sungjae at 7,700, it got a little bit slim picking. So, like, overall, what was your kind of thoughts from the podcast or your overall thoughts this week?
No, I thought you guys did a great job. Like, the key thing that sort of stuck out to me, and I think I had heard a couple guys in chat mention it over the past couple days, and you echoed that just opening it up, is a really tight player pool. And I think this pricing is really unique. You know, we're coming off some really soft pricing into really is quite a bit more difficult. Like you said, you go past down Sungjae, and you don't feel as comfortable with a lot of those guys. Really not a ton of options at all in the 6K. Your boy, though, I don't even want to try and pronounce his name, but
who? Kyung-Hoon Lee?
No, you're lefty. That's
Oh,
first.
Akshay Bhatia.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah,
fan. Not a fan.
yeah. You love him. Don't hate. But we're used to at least having some decent options down there in the 6K to make going all in on DJ a little bit easier to stomach. But we don't have that luxury this week. So I think, like you said, both you and Axis, some of the guys that you guys were on, I think for the most part you agreed on just about everyone, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. That doesn't always happen. That's either
No,
a really
we've
good
never
thing
agreed on a podcast.
or a really bad thing. That's
You
what
would
I'm
bring
saying.
up Kisner or something.
That's what I'm saying. Snedeker on your end.
Snedeker.
You love him.
No. He is getting hyped up, man. The last I heard, he was like 22% this week, which was crazy. I was talking to someone else earlier today, and he was joking about someone, and I was like, I don't understand a couple of these names popping up. One was Snedeker off of just last week's finish, and he's already 22%. It's just pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, he's an excellent win player though, Drew.
Yeah,
so
he'll have that sometime in the future. So kind of like, where are you leaning? Obviously, you like to hit the single entries or the 3 maxes. We'll say single entries for point of reference. Were you kind of on the same page as us as far as DJ? Like, I'm very high on DJ, and it's not hard to be overly confident in that type of player in this type of field. But, I mean, even with Rom there, Jason Day, Webb Simpson, I'm not even looking at those guys this week.
So I do like DJ. I think he is a bit of a open and shut case there. You could easily start with him and just fill it out the rest of the way, leave a little bit on the table, and you'd be fine. But, and I say but, I'm probably fading this whole top for my single, and that might be a bold move. When it's coming down to it, though, we say fading. If I'm fading the whole top, I'm just fading DJ. And I'm starting in the high 9s, and I'm going with a really balanced lineup that I feel really, really comfortable with.
How low are you going? Not to cut you off there, but
oh no, you're fine. My lowest guy is 76.
Really, you're going to 76 as your lowest guy?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you're just going to avoid that top range and go for the balanced approach. That'll certainly be contrarian, I would think. I mean, I'm seeing DJ right now at 27% and see Kokrak at 27%. So, yeah, I'm falling into that category off my single build, obviously differentiating elsewhere. But so you're going a different route completely.
Completely. I'm not on Kokrak. He of 4 guys in that same, within $200 in the 8K range. I'd love to take on more. I know both of you guys were kind of talking him up quite a bit.
Yeah.
But Snedeker I was originally on, but I can't not mention Kisner on any opportunity I have.
Go for it.
So
Nick gives you props on your lineup construction as far as balance this week.
Thank you, Nick.
It's a subtle stab at my single, but maybe I'll throw in a secondary somewhere. I'll find Nick in a 3-man or something.
No, I just really like that whole 8K range is really interesting to me. And I feel like I can easily get off some of that chalk, Snedeker, Kokrak. I know I wrote up Brandon Grace, who's got had a T8 here last year, and hasn't really shown a lot statistically or form. I mean, I think he missed the cut. Let me look at it real quick. I think he missed the cut last week.
He finished 72nd.
Or had a
72nd.
Had a poor finish, and then he finished 33rd at Mexico, missed the cut. 28th at Pebble Beach, 2nd in Phoenix, Waste Management. So, he's got a couple up and down. It's really up and down, and I think that's what we come to know from Grace. He doesn't show a ton of consistency, but His performance here last year, I just think that at an even 8K, he's going to go pretty much overlooked, especially with Knox just above him. And I do like Knox too.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of, going something like Casey Reed or maybe even starting with one of them and dropping down to and just stacking that really, really heavy 8K range. Like, let's say I do go Kokrak. You go Casey, Kokrak, Kisner, Knox, and then you don't have to really worry about 7,500 and below. You could finish on Sung J M or Zach Johnson or, somebody in that Ty Hatton 7,900 who I like also.
Yeah.
And feel really, really comfortable with that lineup. Granted, you're taking the risk of fading one of the, best golfers in the world. So do with that what you will. But I have a much higher propensity to fade the top as opposed to, not. So
Yeah.
that's just me. That's just me personally on my single lineup.
I will say this too. Generally speaking, for Brandon Grace, because he was a guy on my list, I just hadn't plugged him into a lineup at the price. But don't really hate it. The upside, obviously, of last year is good. 8th place there. He finished 37th a couple years ago. But his biggest MO, even on the European Tour, is his driving accuracy. And obviously, with this golf course having much less drivers, I think really, 4 or 5 drivers, or probably 5 drivers around, kind of limits his big number. He had 2 penalties last week. Obviously, a lot of water at that golf course at TPC Sawgrass. But yeah, I do like the play because I could see him hitting more of those long irons off the tee, kind of like a Woodland-ish. Woodland hits the stinger pretty sweet. But Brandon Grace has played well in tournaments where he can hit an iron off the tee and get himself in position. And kind of like Stenson. Stenson is kind of in the same boat where the courses where he never needs to pull out driver. That's why I was really surprised. You kind of saw both sides of that at the API. Like Darnell Palmer, the first day, the first day, obviously he didn't play very well. And the second day, he was able to get it in play, and his irons were there. His irons have been there all year. It's just a matter of getting it in play. So I'm pretty high on Stenson this week. And honestly, from what I'm seeing, I can double check where his ownership is at 8%. Like, I'll keep playing Stenson at 8-9%. Especially at a golf course, he's had good results and doesn't need to pull out the driver a ton. So I like that play quite a bit. The other one there, I'll have to check his ownership. Let me see, because it sounds bad. Like, I think in the industry, when you say you're going to play Keegan Bradley, you get a knock, right? But Keegan at 7%, and he's been gaining so many strokes tee to green.
That's tempting, honestly. Normally, when you say Keegan Bradley, I'm like, no. But that reaction did not come from me then, so maybe I'm getting soft on Keegan Bradley. I don't know. I need to look at his. I mean, his rolling form is just ridiculous. Off the tee to green. I mean, everything that we're keying in on, approach just gets better and better. That was one of the things that I talked about that I particularly love about Axis is his rolling stats is trying to find increasingly trending players, if that makes sense. Because sometimes you can find guys lower owned that technically they might not have gained significant amount of strokes off the tee or approach, but they're building from event to event.
They're just consistent. At least been consistent. Yeah.
Exactly.
And Keegan's been the epitome of consistency, but everyone knocks him for not able to win. And granted, his price is getting up there, but it's not high enough for me. It's not like Furyk at 92. In a vacuum, I think Furyk's a fine play. But if he's going to be heavier owned this week and at a higher price, even with the good course history, I'm not going to play that. So right now I see Furyk at 18%. So again, DFS is a game of line of construction, not so much the plays. And when you start taking into consideration, would you play Furyk over Bradley off of last week? Probably. But when you consider the price and you consider the ownership, I'm not looking that way.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah, like Bradley last week hit 70% of the fairways and 77% of greens for the week, gained 8 strokes on approach. So, like, I don't need you to make a ton of putts. Like, honestly, just hit the ball close to that and putt as bad as you did last week, and I'll probably still be happy with, like, a 14th place finish, honestly, at this point.
For sure.
So, like, going down below that, we can, if you got a couple lower plays, I need to bring up the weather to talk about the AM PM potential splits.
Mm-hmm.
The Friday weather looks like the computer glitched out as far as the wind goes. But do you have any other guys? We'll just hit on the 7K and then we'll jump back and talk 6K because that's kind of where I'm stuck. I'll just tease Work a Cut. I see him in the chat. Max Homa is in my single right now, and it's more or less a ownership play with upside, and it's scary. Yeah, exactly.
What is his price?
66, 64. What is his price?
I don't see him. He's lower than 64.
63, sorry. So what I'm trying to do is squeeze in one low guy, and then I can stack one extra 8K plus. Yeah. That's how I kind of work my lineup today, and I haven't finalized it yet, but to tease Work a Cut a little bit, we're going to get to that point as far as Homa goes. And he was a late add to the field. But do you have any more in the 7K? I know you said you're stopping at 76, but honestly, I think a lot of guys are probably stuck looking through, Bud Cauley, Joaquin Niemann we talked about on the podcast, or any of those guys that pop to you that you may have considered putting in a lineup.
Yeah, so actually, apologies, but I misspoke. Not stopping at 76 because Cauley is one of my guys at 72 that I like a lot. Him and Niemann right there at the same price. I like both of them. Cauley was the one that came to mind for me as far as the consistency and what I'm looking at when I look from tournament to tournament. He had a good performance at, what was it, the Honda? Did he play Honda?
Yeah.
He finished 12th at the Honda. And I just like what I'm seeing from him overall lately. Niemann, everybody was on Niemann for that period of time. And, I mean, we at FGB were on Niemann, just riding the train for a while. And then he kind of fell off. I don't mind that play at all either.
We were the first off of him. I'll give myself that. I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah. I feel like I remember that.
Well. But, yeah, I think he's finally trending in the right direction. So I like him here.
Cauley and Niemann at both 7,200. I like those plays. And, Joel Damon played surprisingly well. I guess I should say to start off. I don't recall how he finished exactly, but
yeah, he did fine. I heard a couple podcasts mentioning him, so he's not in my lineup right now, and I honestly didn't dig any further besides last week's event because he hadn't been playing well up to that event.
Yeah. And
he finally popped and finished 12th. So he's actually scary for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't have any takes on Damon. I think if you go off of last week in a GPP pool, he's fine. But like single entries, I don't for that kind of player, I don't count a 1 week pop very high.
Yeah, no, I could see that as well. Just a couple other guys, and these probably aren't single entry guys. These, are 3, 5, 10, 20 lineup guys. Trey Mullinax at 7,100. I don't mind. He's got positive strokes gained, tee to green off the tee at the Players. Finished. And let's see. Nick Taylor striking the ball really well at the Players. I feel like I've heard him talked up a decent amount at 7,300.
Yeah, he was on my list today.
The one thing that concerns me, though, is that I don't know if that Player's performance is just a flash in the pan. Let me look at his. Well, no. So 16th at last week at the Players, he had that crazy final round. Actually had him in Sunday Showdown and was looking really good until Ricky decided to end that one. But 16th at the Players, 30th at the Honda, 33rd at Genesis, 28th at Pebble Beach. Yeah, I don't mind Nick Taylor's course history here, especially the last 3 years isn't great, but the year prior to that, 2015, he did show some good form there with a 24th finish. So Nick Taylor there, I like that call at 7,300.
Yeah.
Canadian, huh?
Yeah. All right, man. Let's that's good stuff. I got a couple guys in the 6K that I'll bring up for people building out their pools. I see you're starting to shrink again.
Oh no. No.
Let's hit the weather real quick. I'll hop back to the full screen again. Oh, you're back. Again, guys, if you are, I'll drop the link in again. I don't know where the number of entries are, but I definitely want to fill this stupid thing. Go ahead and jump in the FGB Listener League if you have not already. I will drop it in chat. Just click that and reserve a lineup or enter. It's only $3. 75 people. I think it was like 140 to first or something like that. So let's go and hit on the weather real quick. There's interesting, I got a couple of takes on tee times and like splits on the tees, not just AM, PM splits. So I'll bring that up.
All right. Yeah. No, I'd like to hear your tee splits, but I'll touch on this weather real quick. So I dropped this in chat just a little bit earlier today on the premium Slack chat there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go to Fantasy Golf Bag and sign up for premium, and you'll have access to that awesome chat all day. But
depending on who you like more, Golf Gurus or Fantasy Jesus, you can use one of their promo codes and get 20% off because they got a running tally right now of seeing who's more popular. So it's actually pretty close. Hit me with the weather. Sorry.
We digress. So Thursday, there looks to be a pretty clear tee time advantage.
Yeah, and I actually highlighted it on here.
Yeah, so looking at, let me see what you got there.
I just did 8 a.m. The first tee time is actually 7:40, so I just rounded it down to 8 or up to 8.
So, and looking from that, I mean, it's very evident that first tee time, really that first entire wave, because I think the last tee time to go out is 9:40. Do they do them in 2-hour blocks? I'm not sure.
The afternoon, morning?
No, I'm saying that the morning wave is 7:40 to
9:40.
Is it 9:40? Okay,
Yeah,
so it's a 2-hour block of waves. So even that last guy at 9:40, you imagine is going to get a majority of their round in by that 1 p.m. time where we start to see it shift. And it looks like not only does the wind pick up and gusts really start to get up there, but the wind direction also shifts, almost does a 180 there. Temperatures look fine, but, I would not disagree with you if you wanted to, throw in 3/4 of your lineups to consider these weather stacks. I know in the past we have said, oh, weather looks good. Weather's not an issue when there might have been some chatter about it, and turns out there was an advantage. And this might be the case where we say, hey, play the AM guys, and then something happens and it changes. It's hard to account for that. But by all accounts, it looks like that there should be an advantage for the AM guys. So just keep that in mind. Friday, the only advantage appears to be on Thursday. Friday looks to be about the same for everybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and definitely don't overhype the AM PM splits, but there's definitely, if the weather stays the way it is, guys teeing off, and there's some good names teeing off early. And specifically, like I saw Bar Down, I think, said so early back 9 guys. I'm actually looking at front 9 guys. And the reason why is if my guys, let's just say I take Sungjae, and we all know Sungjae's terrible cut sweat last week on 17. Made a hole in one and missed the cut. Unbelievable. Same with Harris English. He had an albatross and missed the cut. I think
wasn't M 3 under on the day at 2 under going into 17?
He was 3 under going into 7 or 2 under going into 17, 3 under on the day, yeah. And then
he
dumped
doubles.
It in the water. But I digress there as well.
Yeah.
So the point of this, the point of all of this. Jeez.
Yeah.
Let me hop back to this. We gotta talk. Everyone knows about the snake pit. So 16, 17, 18 is brutal. 16 is probably one of the toughest holes on the PGA Tour. At least from like a tee shot standpoint. Like there's probably more losses off the tee, like strokes gained off the tee losses on 16 than any other hole that I can think of, unless some guy's just laying way back. So 16, 17, 18 is not a stretch of holes that I want my guys trying to get through the cut. So if you're on the fence about someone, or at least I am, in a single entry lineup, I would lean hole one on Thursday so that they would play through the back nine, finishing up Thursday. And when they tee off on 10 Friday, they finish on 7, 8, 9, which is really an easy stretch. 8's an actually kind of tough par 3, but 9's easy.
Yeah.
And there's very little. I mean, it's minute for these guys, but you think about it. If you really needed to par in, do you really want to play 16, 17, 18, or do you want to play 7, 8, 9? So I'm leaning that way for a few guys. And most of the guys that I want to play are off one. So like DJ's in the afternoon, but he's off one. And I'm not worried about him making the cut. But I'm not going to like knock him out of my pool just because he's teeing off in the afternoon. So kind of take the weather with a grain of salt. There are some notable names teeing off early on one. Rafa Cabrera Bayo, Bud Cauley, Terrell Hatton, Russell Knox, Zach Johnson, and who else was that? That's it. So that's it for the front nine early. So, I mean, there's some good names if you guys are leaning one way or another. Like those are ones that are probably in your player pool. And if you need to throw someone in, those are the ones to hit.
Kiz, you missed Kisner.
No, that was on purpose. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the tee time splits. Obviously, there is an advantage right now off the weather, AM, PM, but it's not like shots and shots of difference. If the weather turns out that way, then so be it. But don't take what we're saying as fade the afternoon, because that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
lean that way. You know what I'm saying? All right, back to it. Let's hit the last few. Running good on time. This is great. So kind of going in, I don't know if you had any other closing thoughts there, but kind of going towards the low end, was there anybody, just during your research that may have been of interest to you, we'll say 7,200 and down?
Yeah,
there's not a ton down there, so if you don't have many, that's totally fine, but that's something I'm trying to force myself to play one 6K guy. That'll help differentiate, because you'll get some ownership leverage if that person plays well, makes the cut, and it gives you some opportunity to pay up into another 8K guy that I want to do very badly. Technically 9K.
Yeah, so you're not going to like this name, but Patrick Rogers at 6,800 is a guy that kind of makes me cringe when I suggest him, but his numbers, man, I can't get off of his numbers lately, and he seems to be, man, he's really streaky. But so he made the cut last week, but didn't get through the MDF on Saturday. Before that, he had a 46 at Arnold Palmer, 30th at the Honda Classic, 15th at Genesis. Doesn't have great history here, but one of the things that really stood out to me the most was, like we were talking about on the Axis rolling stats, is just consistency. Consistency tee to green, consistency off the tee, consistency in approach. I mean, if anything, that was the reason that I was like, let me look into him a little bit more, because particularly when you go down below 7K and you're looking at all these 6K guys, I mean, you're seeing red across the board for tee green, off the tee approach, ball striking, and to see somebody with one positive strokes gained round, let alone 3 in a row, it's worth at least looking at and being like, is this a outlier here? Is that why this is happening? What's going on? Right above him, Ryan Armour, the same thing. He's got positive strokes gained in a lot of categories. He missed the cut, I believe, at the Players. But prior to that, he had a 12th at the Honda. Really tough course there. He's got a lot of missed cuts on this year, though. That's so I can understand that. It's kind of scary.
Humps back.
But those really, Patrick Rogers was the main one that kind of, when I was looking through these rolling stats to just get a feel for some guys down low. I don't mind Austin Cook at an even 7,000. I know you're looking for some 6K guys.
You don't have to give me all these guys. I didn't know if there's anyone that I completely missed. Like Homa was a late ad, so I gave him some extra attention. Carlos Ortiz, I've heard a few names, a few podcasts.
Oh, that's Chris's boy.
Ortiz? I played Ortiz a fair share this.
Loves him some Ortiz.
And what's funny about Ortiz, so he's 27. Obviously, he's from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on the PGA Tour before, like 4 and 5 years ago. So he's played these events before. When he was on tour part of last year, he was playing a few events, I kept thinking he was like a young rookie because he looks like a kid. But, not that I am really excited to play him here, but he hasn't, like, none of these courses are new to him, which is a good advantage for these tougher strategic courses. So, yeah.
What do you think about Svensson?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with Svensson. And Svensson, little did I know from a couple weeks ago, he went to school in Florida as far as college. He went down at West Palm Beach, so he grew up on the Bermuda. So I don't know his Bermuda splits off the top of my head, but his ball striking has been there. So he was one I mentioned on the podcast. Hasn't played this event before, and his recent results this, we'll say, January till now has been really mixed. So, Oh, dude. Yeah. So hang on, we got Chris in the chat, right? Says he learned a lesson last year. Don't judge players based on their DK picture. Have you seen Roger Sloan's picture in DraftKings?
Huh.
Go look it up. Just go pull up the app and go look at it. Because literally,
hold on.
Literally for 2 weeks in a row, he wasn't really popping, but I was like, I ain't playing this guy. There's no way. And then I went to Bay Hill and I watched him on the range. He actually has a really good swing. And in real life, he doesn't look like he's from The Wizard of Oz. And do you look at him?
Hold on, I'm hearing you say The Wizard of Oz as I'm trying to find it.
I'm just saying, man, I was not playing a kid that looked like that. And no offense to him at all, it's just the way that picture looked. But like in real life, man, he looked like a baller. You see him now?
What's his price?
I don't know. His price is 69. Oh no, he's 7 even.
7 even.
Come on, man. Seriously, you see him? Not to completely take us off the rails, but literally, you have no idea how many times I scrolled by him because he popped at like the Puerto Rico Open and it was going to the Honda or somewhere else before in the West Coast, and I literally looked at his picture and I said no. I said no because of his picture.
He's trying to channel like 2020 Ricky Fowler, isn't he?
It's like the
2012 Ricky Fowler
hair or something. I don't know. But I'm fine with Roger Sloan this week. I watched him on the range at the Arnold Palmer. I was really impressed. But I just thought that was funny. I need to take that out of one of my leaks in the game is looking at pictures. We need to have a setting in DK to remove pictures because that doesn't help, man.
I have this superstition about picking players that don't have pictures. It's very difficult for me, especially with M and Neiman, because they don't have pictures yet. And it hurts me when I have a lineup with all pictures but one.
Yeah, you need to play some Euro golf. None of them have pictures, so that'll help your game. I see Chris asking about KH Lee, and let me look at his ownership. Yeah, it's actually pretty low, Chris. He was one that Axis brought up. Statistically, he's popping off the charts, and I think I've heard, at least the podcasts I've listened to, everyone has talked about Kyung-Hoon Lee. He is currently projected at, I see 4%, and then I also see 7.5% ownership. So, I mean, doesn't look that high, but it's up to you, man.
Yeah, it'll probably be there around 5, I guess.
I like Boone Cree's take. Just play M. Oh, Hump. Come on, man. Shink was on the list. Adam Shink?
He was on the list.
He was on the list. Probably twice. But he's not on the DK bad picture list. Yeah, we kind of touched on that, Mike. Mike was asking if we went over the 10K and above. Mine's super small, over 10K. I'm just playing DJ, taking stands against everyone else. I did mention I know when Fantasy Jesus and Golf Gurus joined us, there were some requests for us to add more FanDuel content, and we have not got that in the works yet, or as far as like moving along with it. But I will say that the pricing on FanDuel allows for you to play like a DJ and Webb Simpson. So someone in our chat earlier in Slack asked about that. And I took that price savings and kind of value from FanDuel to hedge off a DJ from DraftKings to FanDuel. So there's other ways you can go, but it's strictly DK. I'm just playing DJ. DK's DJ.
DK, DJ. Nice.
What did Lynchman say?
He said that Sloan looks like that Tumnus the goat guy from Chronicles of Narnia.
I don't know who that is, man.
You need to look it up right now because it's like dead on.
So pretty close. He needs a little bit slicker hair down.
And a goatee.
And the goatee, yeah. But in real life, man, I mean, they do look cool. I was fine with it. So yeah, I don't know if you had any final thoughts on 10K and above. I know you're going to play more balanced, but I think DJ for me is, I would play DJ. I would place a bet of DJ at minus 120 over any of the guys over 10K right now.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Mike,
I like DJ. I don't dislike him. I think
Mike, don't slide into my DMs.
He'll probably screw everything and like run away with this 9 holes in on Friday. But
I have high hopes for him this week. And it's so stupid to say. I hate saying like the highest priced guy is the best play, but he is. He's the best play. So I'm just going to go with it, and we'll see how it ends up on Sunday. Really, honestly, the rest of the pieces need to work out.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you finish as 5th, but you got 1st, 2nd, and 7th, 8th, you're good. So
Lynchman was asking if you were good with 25% ownership on DJ.
How many lineups? Like 4 lineups, it's only 1, probably not. But like I would probably go 50 at least. But 150.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He might have been asking if you're just okay with the actual ownership, projected ownership.
I'm not worried about that. Honestly, anywhere.
I'm not sure how to read that, but I agree.
You're probably right. He probably meant 25% projected ownership. Yeah, I'm totally fine playing that.
If I was playing him, then I wouldn't care what the ownership was.
True. You're playing him for more than you're not playing him for ownership leverage. You're playing him more for winning equity.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if Nick's still in the chat, but like I'm curious if he has a take on his ownership, because 25% I think is probably in the ballpark, but I would be willing to bet he comes closer to 20, which would be completely fine for the best play in the field, in my opinion. So I think you would actually get a better deal. And again, we do the show on win equity. We do the show Thursday morning. So if you guys are up, I know West Coast is super early, but for the East Coast Florida swing, we hop on Twitch again early on for about 40 minutes for a post-game lock show and basically walk through all the ownerships and where they differ between the $5 up to the $1,500. So I encourage you, if you're around 8 a.m. Eastern, to hop on. If not, you can watch the replay. But it's pretty interesting to see, like last week, how heavy Rory was in the $1,500 or the $2,000 versus the $5. So you can kind of get an idea of, man, I was really, really liking Rory. I faded him for this reason, whatever. But then if you look at the sharp names that played him, wow, he was 37%. So it gives you an idea of maybe where your process could be improved throughout the week. So I would encourage you guys to tune into that Thursday mornings after this show. So 8 a.m. Eastern.
Nice.
Any other thoughts, man? Otherwise, we can move into the ownership segment and then finish off with some giveaways. If you guys have questions, of course, you guys can pop them in there. I know we were talking about players' pictures. And Butter JC, I see your comment up there about KH Lee too thin. Yeah, I think so. Sorry, I didn't see that earlier, but I think KH Lee is a good add to a player pool. But as far as cash goes, I don't have enough data to make a play, like a really strong take on playing him. Because his form leading up to these 3 events was terrible. So, like we talked about on the podcast, he's either going to regress back to a miscut and like losing strokes on approach, or he could have 1 or 2 more good events, gaining strokes approach, and it could work out. But for cash, I wouldn't go there. I kind of like Jacob's take on going more balanced and avoiding some of those landmines down there. Whew. Yeah, Nick, I think just like the lineup construction kind of prevents a lot of people from jamming them in, especially in optimizers. Because I have to believe that most optimizers, if they're using projections, his projection's not that much higher. They'd probably rather build a balanced lineup and put him in there. So that's interesting. So let's hop over again, guys, real quick. The betting card by Golf Gurus and Fantasy Jesus is up on the website, so you can find that fantasygolfbag.com/betting cards, and that is completely free. They actually had plays for the European Tour, which just locked, but I know they have 2 different waves, so you might be able to still grab some action on the European Tour. But all the head-to-heads and the top 5, top 20s, I think Akshay was actually the only top 20, top 10s, top 5s, and outright. So you can grab that on the website, and presented by Fantasy Jesus and Golf Gurus. So yeah, he's got new teeth, Hump. Golf Gurus put some new teeth in. I'm not sure what you mean by hammering, but like 7-1 T20 for him, he's grading out well. And it probably depends on if you're gonna talking to Lou Dog Sports. It depends on if you are playing him like you're overweight in DraftKings. That's kind of how I would view it. So I like the T20 bet, but I'm not sure what hammering means. But yeah, I like the play, but I wouldn't go overexposed on a T20 and DraftKings personally. That's not how I would do it. But if you feel good about it, by all means, make 6 figures. All right, man. Let's hop into some final thoughts on ownership. Again, we'll use both sources. You shrunk again.
Oh, no.
But I can fix it. So just monitor chat for just a second. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll fix your size. I think it's my fault.
No, you're good. Got a question just in there on Chris Kirk. Looking at him really quick, he's actually really interesting. He had that really solid finish, I guess you could say, at the Players, or I'm trying to think what event. It was not the Players, but the one before at Arnold Palmer where he had that.
He shot 66, but he double bogeyed 18, right?
Yeah.
You're full size now. You're welcome.
Course history here, thank you, is not great. And his form really, up until that 15th, has not been great. So
yeah, I'm not playing Kirk.
Yeah, take from that what you will, but I don't love the play. There are guys I like better. So, what were you saying?
Even last week, he kind of snuck through the cut. Didn't really do much with his iron, so I don't see enough there. And honestly, if I remember correctly, I don't think his course history is as good as you would think for this. Yeah.
It's not. It's like mediocre at best, 49s, 50s, something like that, and a miscut in between.
Correct. So like 7,500 is a bit expensive. I would rather just pay the Sungjae M price or the Zach Johnson price. And I'm not fully sold on Zach Johnson yet. I'm curious if Nick's still in the chat. If you can tell me what to do with Zach Johnson. But it seems like every week this year, he's got a 66 in him, or he just like packs it home on Thursday afternoon.
I can tell you what to do with Zach Johnson.
That's all right.
You're going to play him and his brand spanking new Spider X putter.
If you're going to play Zach Johnson because he got a new putter, then you should probably withdraw from the listener league and give someone else a spot. All right. Let's hit some ownership, and we'll talk through our final thoughts, and then we'll do some giveaways. And we actually got a special giveaway next week. Speaking of the Spider putter, we got a Spider putter for next week, man.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm showing it on the stream right now. We'll get to those details here in a minute. But yeah, we'll have to give away a Spider putter. This was Fantasy Jesus' idea, so kudos to Fantasy Jesus on the giveaway idea. All right, man, let's hit some ownerships. Guys, again, we appreciate you tuning in to the Fantasy Golf Bag live stream. Mike, you can donate, and I'll send you some stickers. Got some Fantasy Golf Bag stickers. So, do you know what a ZJ is?
Do I personally know what a ZJ is?
You know how much he is?
Do I know? Oh, he's 7,600.
I forget the line.
What? I completely lost it there.
I know. I'm making a joke about the Super Troopers. All right, we've really gone off the rails. Let's hit some ownership.
Not in that.
Do you have any? So far I see.
Oh,
thank you. See,
terrible.
SJ Hunter got it. If you don't know what a ZJ is, or you don't know the price or something, you can't afford it. Something like that. If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Throwing me off.
Beer Fest. I completely screwed it up, man. Too many beers. All right. Do you have anybody that you're curious? Let's for example, let's look at Zach Johnson and Sung Jae because they're right there in the middle, and I'll pull up both. We'll eyeball both. Zach Johnson. So again, guys, you can sign up at FanisherSports.com. Can't go through everybody in here, but I'll selectively pick out a couple, and we'll give you a taste of their ownership. Zach Johnson, where you at? So I see him at 15%, and then Fanshare has him at 9%. Sung Jae, on the contrary, I see him at 16%.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him at 24%. So obviously, Zach Johnson's the pivot, I guess, if you really need one. But
it's interesting.
I got too high of expectations for Sung Jae for the season. So like every time he's priced this low in this type of field, man, I just gotta play him. I mean, you could probably play them both. You're burning a lot of ownership, but yeah, Hump. It looks like he will be pretty close, or at least 1.5 times. What else we got in here? Furyk, RCB.
Yeah, Furyk, RCB, Kang.
So I got a couple here. One second. Furyk at 18 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like a lot to burn on a $9,000 guy, even with his good course history.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Furyk fan. I
think a lot of that is just coming off his last week.
His last couple weeks have been good, no doubt. I'm just saying, when you start looking at the bigger picture of his form coming in with his course history, his price obviously gets a bump, but then the ownership comes with it. Like 9,200, and it was going to be 7%. A little bit different story, but 10% higher than that. We'll say 16, 17%.
Yeah,
kind of crazy. Cabrera Bio. I'll give you two names actually as pretty good pivots. Not pivots so much, but somewhat. Cabrera Bio 7%, and Paul Casey. Oh, Paul Casey is coming in obviously off the miscut 13%. That's interesting.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I see him at 12% here. So.
Sorry, I was looking at something else that was showing him at 8.
That's all right. Yeah, I see Cabrera 7. So Sneds and Ryan Moore. Go up the list a little bit for me, Jacob, because I'm kind of hitting the bottom and they're moving up. So
yeah, I got you. Let's see.
What's that mean?
Love it.
Batia for S&G? What does that mean? What's S&G?
For
I can't afford it.
shits and giggles,
That's probably good. Good work, man.
maybe. Glover, Poston.
Yeah. So one thing was Batia is on the top 20 card for Fantasy Jesus and Golf Gurus. So I will place a bet on that. I think it was like 12-1 for a top 20. It's worth some money. He's 400-1 to win outright, which I don't think is going to happen, but you could throw some Monopoly money on there. Snedeker. Why is this not updating? 20% Snedeker? Like, I can't do that, man.
Yeah, no, I would pass on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Glover and Poston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glover,
Brian,
Poston.
RCB sub 10.
Reed after that when you get done with that
Reed
one.
17. I mean, that's about in line, honestly. I'm not playing Reed, but like, if you're gonna play him, that's to be expected. 17% on this course.
Would you pivot Reed to Casey if it's a change in ownership?
Honestly, man, I really like Stinson, so that's probably where I would go.
What's Stinson's ownership?
7? 8?
No.
It says 8. Glover. Stinson is at 14 here, but I see him at 9, so
Yeah, I see that too.
I don't know. I'm just not high on Reed here. You know where he's going to be in my Masters lineup.
At least one of them, right?
At least one of them. Brent P says he's all in on Reed. I mean, he's been playing better. He just doesn't statistically pop for anything.
Yeah, I like Reed. I wrote him up today and it's funny you said that because I mentioned that specifically, that statistically he doesn't pop, and that's okay. Sometimes it's stats mean a lot of different things. They tell you which way to go, but sometimes we play a guy that looks perfect stats and misses a cut. So I'm going with the course history thing here on Reed, and the fact that I could see this is a difficult course.
He's another one where less than driver helps him a lot. So like in my article, I wrote up the difference between guys hitting drivers all year versus here. And I mean, it was a huge difference in percentage. So you get guys that typically lose strokes off the tee. Coming here is a big advantage. Or it can be a good buffer. So like Patrick Reed last week gained 4 strokes around the green, lost strokes on approach, lost strokes putting. Like that, it's just, even with the recent form, he's doing a lot of damage around the greens. These greens are a bit difficult. So I think his form coming into those other ones have been better.
Yeah.
I would think. Yeah, pretty much. All right. No, he never does have stats. It's always short game. Same with Jason Day.
Jason Day, yeah.
Which I'm fine.
We're okay with that. We're okay with
generally,
that.
Yeah.
Although Day's a bit more consistent with his finishes, but
oh man, Bradley, good one there.
Yeah, what's Bradley? That's good. Kisner, what's Kisner's ownership look like?
0. Is anyone playing Kisner? Bradley?
I have heard Kisner talked up with the likes of Kokrak, Snedeker, Moore, and somebody else all week.
You guys want to give me even odds on a Kisner miscut? I'll take it. Keegan Bradley, I see here at 14, and I see him at 6 here. 7. So it's a little bit of a variance. Orange Man, I did not see your question. What do you have? Something about play good players, not named ass face Reed. That's right. That's a good hashtag. Going up the list, any others that I missed? If not, we'll hit the last. Did I hit post?
Oh, do Kokrak. I just want to see what. I think somebody mixed in.
All right, I'll hit post and Kokrak, and I see Sergio. Hump dropped Sergio in there.
Hump thinks Sergio is going to be more on than DJ. That's his hot take.
close, but I don't. It'd be interesting to see what contest, because I could see that possibly happening in like the $5, but in higher dollar stuff, I don't think DJ would be lower owned than Sergio, personally. So it depends on what you're talking about. You said Coke Rack and then Poston.
Yeah.
So I thought I looked up Coke Rack. He was low. He was high.
Yeah, he's high. I think he's
24. I see him at 26. So.
Yeah.
And then the last one I'll hit on is Poston, and then we'll do the last 2 giveaways.
We'll be right on time.
Yes, sir. We'll get you out of here. I got to build my lineups. I always wait, and now with the East Coast, I can't wait till the end. Poston at 10.
You need to figure that out. I like Poston, especially at 10. I like that.
All right, one more. I see Molinax. Molinax is surprisingly consistent. What's funny is I play with Molinax at this golf course. Him and Harris English, actually. And I don't think Molinax played that well. I actually played with Smiley in the second round, I think. And Smiley beat me by 2 shots. So I think I could probably beat Smiley now.
Probably.
Molinax at 6.2. Straight hitter's not good here, a.k.a. Bubba style. I don't think Bubba hits it straight. He hits it left to right or right to left. Yeah, not a big deal. Chris, you can look it up, man. Brooks Koepka, play with him in the final round with Benoit, and Brooks beat me by 2 shots. So, I mean, that gap has slowly increased. But I was close.
To the giveaways.
All right, we'll hit the giveaways. Yeah, man.
What was that? Final round of what?
That was it was an AJGA event, so it was high school. I forget what event. I think it was like the Bristol Myers Championship in West Palm Beach. Played at like Bear Lakes or something like that.
You were the final group with him and Ben?
No. We weren't in the final group. They moved back to where I was playing. I was in like the 5th to last group or something like that. But we were tied.
There you go.
Okay, let's hit the giveaways and then we'll get out of here. Yeah, I need to get a good DK picture for the U.S. Open. All right, let's see if the wheel pops up. Burgess. I think it's Luke. Are you playing some Woodland?
Yeah, somebody else was asking fantasy. Oh. Who's that? Fantasy AJ? That's not Axis.
That might be Jesus. I'm not sure.
Why is there no Woodland talk?
Woodland at 15%. For one, he's 10K. He's only had 1 good year here, and he won it.
Well, that was like 8 years ago.
It was a long time ago. I don't know. Who's everyone's one and done? I'm curious about that. If you guys want to drop in the chat, I'll go and spin the wheel, and I'll give you a, depending on the one and done, that'll be the keyword. Because I think this one and done is either going to be DJ, or you would just drop down to like a Sungjae and maybe take some equity there, or Ryan Moore or something.
I would probably go DJ on this one if I was doing one and done.
You wouldn't wait till the RBC Canadian Open? Jason Day.
Nope.
FGB hat. We actually are.
Would he get new hats?
No, we're waiting to get new hats, so we can't do a hat. It'll have to be a t-shirt.
What are the new hats?
There we go. They'll be similar. We're going to get trucker hats. I know Chris and I are working on getting the trucker hats. So they'll be like flat bills with the logo, snapback. Real nice. Real nice.
Nice.
All right, keyword is going to be
Tesla.
Nope. Keyword is going to be Akshay.
Oh.
If you can spell it, you have a chance to win.
You go first.
I think I did it right. Real nice. Oh, man. And then again, we got the live stream tomorrow morning, so definitely check that out. That's probably one of the funnest ones because we don't have any lineups to sweat over. You're just doing post research, figuring out where your research went wrong or where it went right or where your biases took over, like not taking Roger Sloan because he looks like an elf on Wizard of Oz.
Or not playing Kevin Kisner as he takes the lead.
Well, he doesn't like DFS players.
That's interesting. Wasn't he speaking in a positive light against DFS in the past?
He's a fan of DFS. I think he was just pissed that day for whatever reason. All right. C4329. I can only guess that your first name is Chris. Chris or Casey. That's my guess. So if you can, C4329, DM me on Twitter for a t-shirt. I'll get that sent out to you. We'll do one more, and we'll get you guys out of here. It's right at 10. It's going to be a t-shirt, so whatever it is, it's a t-shirt. It's a t-shirt. So t-shirt it is. What do you want this keyword to be? Give it to me quick.
Kisner.
Keyword's Kisner. Last one. And then again, we will... Yeah, it's not going to be a golf poll. We don't have any more golf polls. We're waiting for the hats and the polos, but we have plenty of t-shirts. And again, we'll do the putter giveaway. Stay tuned for how you can win this next week for a special fantasy golf bag contest for the match play. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the March Madness.
Oh,
style.
Very nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Very nice. Yeah.
Oh, man. Horse player, when we get more polos, man, I'll try to hook you up. But right now, we got to get a whole new shipment of hats and polos. But we do have shirts. All right, that it? Here we go. SJ Hunter, if you're left-handed and you win, we'll buy you a left-handed putter. We'll buy you one. Or we'll just take it to like TGW or Edwin Watts or Golf Galaxy or whatever. They probably just exchange it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Jamo. Did he already win?
I think he may have already won.
That's all right. I've had a few conversations with him on Twitter, so we can see. He might be working the system like Buddha. We'll get your t-shirt stuff.
That slow play. I see how it works.
What?
Oh no, just you get in the owner's ear. You win things.
A little bit. Yeah. That's what Mike did. All right, guys. That'll do it for the show Fantasy Golf Bag live stream before the Valspar Championship. Please, if you haven't already, I'll drop it in chat one more time. I mean, I'm sorry to spam a freaking link in here, but I don't know if it filled or there's like 5 spots left. But go ahead and sign up for the Fantasy Golf Bag live stream if you haven't already. Tune in tomorrow morning on the same channel, twitch.tv/redkachik for the post-lock live stream. We talk about ownerships across all the GPPs to see where you may have faltered in your research or maybe your decision-making and line of construction could be improved a little bit. And then, of course, we watch the PGA Tour live during that time, so it's pretty fun to watch your early morning guys make a double bogey like I watched Adam Scott a couple weeks ago do that on the live stream. So that was fun. So we'll see you guys later this week. Good luck with your lineups. Check back next week for the WGC Delt Match Play contest for the TaylorMade Spider Putter. Good luck this week, guys, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Bye.
See you guys.